Hello world, how you living? This is D Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com, or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the rap project every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D-Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
The dialogue.
The dialogue.
The dialogue.
The dialogue.
The dialogue.
The Dialogue, the community voice of Southern California's young professional network. Relevant discussions about the thoughts, concerns, opportunities, and challenges faced by today's generational leaders. Real talk, real people. This is The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlett Quarles on 1460 KTYM and streaming live at www.ktym.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. I'm your host, Starlett Quarles, and we're on live at latalklive.com and also streaming live. Thank you very much, Richard. And also streaming live in Omaha, Nebraska at 1690 AM. The one, the voice of the voiceless. Shout out to William King in Omaha, Nebraska. This is our first show here at LA Talk Live. So for those of you who don't know us, The Dialogue is the voice of our generation. So thank you so much for joining us here every Wednesday from 5 to 6, where we like to discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. This, like I said, is our first show here at LA Talk Live. Matter of fact, it is our second year anniversary. We started off in October 2010 at 1460. Oh, thank you very much, Richard. You and your little claps are just so adorable. We started off 2 years ago at 1460 AM KTYM right here in Inglewood, and now we are launching our series on latalklive.com. So thank you again for joining us. We're launching our series today on Let's Talk About Politics. We all know that there is a very important election coming up on Tuesday, November 6th. I know we're all going to get out and vote, but this is one of the most important elections in our American history. And so today we want to start off our conversation talking with some of our Black Republicans here today on The Dialogue. Maybe not necessarily Black Republicans, but those who have conservative views. Right-leaning, as my guest Sheila Taylor is currently correcting me live here on LA Talk Live. As we know, 9 out of 10 Black Americans are Republicans. So we want to get their insight today and their perspective and their political views, especially in this election year. Joining me today is my special co-host for the next couple of weeks, Mr. Dermot Givens, attorney at law here in Los Angeles. How you doing, Dermot?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Let me be clear. I'm one of the 9 out of 10.
We want to be clear that Dermot is on the Democratic side of the conversation. But thank you so much for joining us for tonight's conversation, as well as next week when we talk about blacks who aren't necessarily voting for Obama.
And congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you.
Move
up and out.
Yeah.
Move up and out of the community.
Sell out.
Looking for great things. Great things coming.
Thank you so much, Dermot. You're going to share us a little bit more about your story later on in the broadcast. Also joining us, our guests today are two of my dearest friends, Miss Sheila Taylor, as well as Mr. Kenneth Fleming, both entrepreneurs and young professionals here in Los Angeles who, as Sheila says, are leaning a little bit towards the right.
I'm all the way over, personally.
I believe that I'm all the way over.
Uh-oh.
You all the way over?
Uh-oh.
She's all the way over, y'all.
I'm declined to stay, but I do lean right.
She leaning. She leaning to the right, y'all. So we have our friends Kenneth Fleming and Sheila Taylor here to talk about their experience in the Republican Party, or having conservative views, and their experience being Black conservatives here, especially in this election year, as well as in the Black community. But before we go to a quick commercial break, I want to remind our viewers that on Tuesday, November 6th, right here at LA Talk Live, we're going to be doing a live election coverage from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. called LA Get Out and Vote. We are encouraging you to register to vote if you have not voted, or if you have not registered online or at your local registration facility, and make sure that you get out on Tuesday, November 6th, and vote for the candidate that you think is best for your community, as well as for our state and federal agendas. So we're going to take a quick...
Go Romney.
Get off the mic. It ain't your turn yet. She already starting up, y'all. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get into our conversation with Black Republicans and Sheila, who has not yet fully signed the Republican paperwork, but she damn near has already.
She's a member.
She's a member? Oh, Jesus. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to start a conversation on Black Republicans right here on The Dialogue.
I cannot wait to get to this party tonight.
Me too, but you are not coming with me looking like that.
What?
Your hair is a hot mess. It's frizzy, it's wild. You need Mixed Chicks.
What's that?
It's this incredible hair product called Mixed Chicks.
But I'm not mixed.
You don't have to be. Says right on the bottle, whether you're Black, white, Asian, Latino, Mediterranean, or any glorious combination.
Is it alcohol free?
Yep, so it won't dry your hair out. Works on weaves too. Bet you thought it was real.
Mixed Chicks, control your curls. Check out mixedchicks.net.
Mixed Chicks available at select salons, beauty supplies, and your neighborhood Target stores.
Journey Sisters is an organization that embodies and captivates women from all walks of life. Our membership includes 44 women that are constantly growing in the areas of personal development and community involvement. Monthly, we offer free leadership classes at McCade's Restaurant. Journey aims to inform women in the areas of heart disease and HIV and AIDS. Experience the journey now by logging into www.journeymosaicinc.com. Toll free 888-906-5519. Journey with no excuses.
Welcome back to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. I am your host, Starlett Quarles, and we are on live at latalklive.com. And today we are launching our series on Let's Talk About Politics. And we're having a discussion with Black Republicans, or as Sheila likes to say, she's leaning towards the right. And joining me is my co-host, Mr. Dermot Givens, attorney at law. How you doing, Dermot?
Good, real good.
Thank you again for joining us. So tell me why you want to, I know you're very passionate about politics. So what is it about politics that just excites you so much?
Well, no, in what we're doing, what excites me is Black folks in politics.
Okay,
whether
very
it's
good.
Left, right, center, wherever. I love Black politics, and that's why I'm interested in having this conversation with some of our Republican Black folks to find out, what are they thinking?
What are y'all? What are y'all thinking? Well, I am not going to profess to be a political guru. I am going to be learning as much as my viewers are on this conversation on Black Republicans. So to start off our conversation, we're going to take a little historical look at the Black Republican Party. I'm going to play a couple of videos. They are dated. One is from 2008, a CNN report by Field. Networks, and these are effective, and then we'll come back.
Now, Canada changed the map of the generation.
among black voters. Just one among candidates make a huge splash here on Capitol Hill. 107 Republican House and 31.
My name is Bishop E.W. Jackson, chairman of Ministers with a message to Christians in the black community. The slavish devotion to the Democrat Party. They have
Seize the day, got to seize the day, seize the day, send me back.
Unfortunately, we are having some technical difficulties, and we are not able to show you the CNN videos about the black Republicans. We're live TV, so we're just going to roll with it. So we're just going to jump into our conversation with our guest here, and hopefully maybe after commercial break, we'll be able to play some of that audio for you from the videos. If not, we're definitely going to play some of their views next week. We're going to get it together. This is our first live taping, everybody, but we will get you those insights from those black Republicans from those two CNN reports. So let me get on with our conversation with our guest. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start with you, Sheila. Let's talk about your political evolution and what were you taught to believe politically growing up?
Well, I don't think I was taught. Well, I don't think I know I wasn't taught anything about politics growing up. We were only taught to be good and upstanding citizens, that you are responsible for all of your actions, decisions, and your path forward, and that you will always be held accountable for those decisions.
So you guys didn't talk about politics growing up around the dinner table, or you never got involved in any of the elections with your parents growing up?
No. In fact, I remember kindergarten.
Okay.
I do know that my grandfather supported Ronald Reagan. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, it wasn't kindergarten. It was like second grade. And
wow, you're young.
I was getting ready. I was trying to do the math. I was like 80, 92 carried a 1. 23?
Hey! It was first or second grade, anyhow. And they had the mock elections that you typically have children to get them involved in the understanding, politics and social studies and those sorts of things. And the teacher lined everyone up, and we had to vote. And she told all of us that we had to vote for Walter Mondale, that's who we had to vote for, and that is who we were supposed to vote for. And I went home and told my grandparents about my day because, many latchkey kids, I'm from the Midwest, you go to your grandparents' home after school. And my grandmother hit the roof.
Oh, my God.
She hit the roof. She was so angry because this, people talk about the indoctrination that the public school systems do, and she thought that was full-on indoctrination. That, how dare you tell her that this is whom she's supposed to vote for when they didn't necessarily believe in their views.
Okay.
So that's pretty much my first reminder, of politics. But other than that, it was never. I think that when you're raised. When you're black, you're just immediately indoctrinated into the Democratic Party.
Okay.
But those were some of the things that were never spoke about in my home. Even racism was never taught in my home. It was just all Michigan, Detroit.
Where?
Detroit.
Okay, so was I.
But it was clearly being talked about in your house, right?
Oh, all the time.
No, it was never.
Y'all were living on the same street, apparently.
No, I grew up in a very conservative,
and
middle
the same
class
generation, from what I can see.
I had left Detroit, and I'm a native of California.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I've been here a very long time too, so I would say I'm from California. At least that's what my family says because they're all still there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Now, Ken, your father actually was a politician, so share with us.
Turned out.
Share with us your political evolution and what you were taught. Growing up, being Willie Fleming's son, who was a local political leader here in Los Angeles.
Well, a couple of things. I don't think I was necessarily taught. We just watched. So for us, voter registration was huge. New City Young Democrats. I had to wear the shirt. I lived in the house. And so I just continued to support Democrats because of my upbringing, not necessarily educating myself. When I made a commitment to myself at a very young age, probably 17, to become an entrepreneur, I began to put the puzzle together. And I actually sat down with my father before he passed away, quite some time before he passed away, and we talked about that. And a couple of my good friends who are elected members of not only the assembly but state assembly, and talked about this thing about me becoming a Republican versus staying a Democrat. And they informed me and told me some things. I won't share all those details, but based on what they said and what I was believing, it made me say that becoming a Republican was the way to go for me. One of the I think misunderstandings about Republican is that we're all radical, we're all conservatives, Tea Party members, and that's not true at all. In fact, I really don't believe 100% of what the Tea Party has to say. And also, I believe that Mitt Romney, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but Mitt Romney is a moderate. I don't believe he's a conservative Republican. That's my opinion. But unfortunately, in the primary election, he has to go far to the right to get the vote and then move back to the center.
Okay.
When's he gonna move? Well, let me just interrupt.
Absolutely,
and kind of go on a tangent here, because this may be like a homecoming or whatever, because we've got Sheila, who's from Detroit. I'm born and raised in Detroit, so we're home folks.
Okay.
And Ken Fleming's dad and I both worked together. We were both council deputies back in the day. He worked for a different council person than I did, but I knew his father well.
Okay.
So it's kind of a interesting mix to me to see what they're going to say. And they were just talking about, and let me just throw this in. Mitt Romney's dad was governor of Michigan when I was a child. So we have all that connection. But I'm a little disconnected than they are, because I'll lead off with my question. When is this man going to turn to the center?
Well, I can handle that. I love politics. And you talk about love politics, I'd rather talk about
He's got
politics.
3 weeks.
Yeah. But he's not going to do it in that fashion. I'm talking about in his policies and what he does if he wins and gets in the White House. That's what I mean in regards to moving back to the center.
You're talking about his strategy.
Yeah, his strategy. He's talking about his strategy, right? Or are you talking about his policy?
Well, I don't know his strategy. I'm trying to figure it out.
His policies, I can bet you bottom buck that he'll move closer to the center, be more of a moderate Republican president than a conservative Republican president.
I agree with that. I don't think that the far right movement of the Republican parties is expecting anything less.
Exactly.
They're very well aware.
Okay, I think we have the audio links, Richard. Okay, so we're going to back up a little bit, and we're going to play at least the audio of the CNN report by Frederica Whitfield on the history of Black Republicans.
Well before Barack Obama became the presumptive Democratic nominee for president, Black Americans were solidly in the blue column. Polls show that 9 out of 10 blacks vote Democrat.
I just think it's more representative of the working class people.
The reason I choose to vote Democrat is because they open their arms to my ethnicity.
But before the 1960s redefined American politics, it was the Republicans who were identified with some of those same things. The party of Abraham Lincoln and abolitionist Frederick Douglass embraced blacks as equals, while Democrats, especially in the South, supported segregation.
Also keep in mind that most former slave owners had been members of the Democratic Party, and so the Democratic Party in the South was maligned as the party of the slave master as well.
So what changed? An upheaval in the Democratic Party after the Second World War recast political allegiances.
That started in large part because in 1948, Harry Truman added civil rights to the Democratic Party platform. And as you know, Strom Thurmond and the Dixiecrats actually revolted from the party, thus beginning, even though it really doesn't happen until the 1960s, the exodus of Southern Democrats from the Democratic coalition to the Republican Party.
Today, just 10% of blacks say they plan to vote Republican. In the minority, Ken Blackwell, formerly Ohio's Secretary of State.
The reason I've been a Republican is because this is the party that believes in freedom. It believes in economic growth. It believes in the individual capacity to make a difference in his or her life, and it's individuals that actually working in concert that change the course of history. I don't believe in big government. I don't believe in monopolies. I believe in the power of the private sector.
The economy, gas prices, the credit crunch, unemployment, all high on voters' minds this election season.
That they're more of a voice, and they know the struggle that a lot of middle income level and lower income people are going through. So with this war, with the Katrina situation, with gas prices, food prices.
Ken Blackwell, now with the Conservative Family Research Council, thinks the Republican solutions could appeal to African Americans.
It would be a missed opportunity if one candidate or the other wouldn't show up and would begin to take the African American vote for granted, or in the case of a Republican, in this case John McCain, just to write off the African American vote. McCain is proving that he's not going to take that direction. He, in fact, is showing up. He is basically willing to, stand before African American voters and say, I care, this is what I believe.
Is this the year or the beginning of a period where there may be a new tide change?
Emory University's Audra Gillespie says that although Senator John McCain has an uphill struggle against Barack Obama, he's not turning his back on African Americans.
The fact that he's made overtures in the African American community, in the heart of the traditional black belt in the American South, that doesn't necessarily mean that that will accrue votes for him, but it will accrue a certain amount of respect.
Frederica Whitfield, CNN, New Orleans.
Okay, we did play the audio, and we didn't get to play the edited audio because that was 2008, so we don't want to confuse you with the conversation on John McCain, but we wanted to give you a excerpt on the history of Republicans. And Dermot, I'm going to throw it to you. Expand a little bit more about the history of black Republicans in the United States.
Yeah, and I actually did a little reading on this to hopefully expand on my knowledge of what black Republicans have told me, because they're always in this historical element of explaining themselves that, black folks from out of slavery, from Lincoln, was a Republican.
Right.
So then black folks became Republicans, and it stayed that way until like the early 60s.
Okay.
Black folks were Republicans. And if you look at the South, that's the racism and everything that we kind of believe happens and still happens in the South. Out of the Civil Rights Movement, it was Democrats who were the racist. George Wallace was a Democrat. Most of the politicians in the South at that time were Democrats,
right,
who were holding black folks down.
Right.
And then something happened in the 60s, and the Democrats started to change in the North with the rise of black middle class in the North and in the West, here in the West, and blacks became in the Democratic Party. But then President Nixon, from what I understand,
Focused on the South
and allowed the white racist Democrats to come join him to keep the black folks in place.
Okay.
No. I mean, it's
and
history.
that's called in polite circles, that's called the Southern strategy, and it's still at work today. Because if you look at the map, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia,
the poorest states,
the poorest states, where white folks are still in charge and are still gonna vote for Romney.
Okay.
They're not gonna vote for
vote.
Barack.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just have some interesting facts off the National Black Republicans Association's website regarding some of the historical facts about Democrats. It says that Democrats fought and expanded slavery. Republicans fought against it. And when it comes to the Civil War, it says that Democrats succeeded the Union to preserve slavery. Segregation. Democrats opposed civil rights. Republicans championed for civil rights. And also note some of the famous black Republicans, including Martin Luther King.
His daughter.
You said his daughter? Oh, okay. Do we look at my notes?
Keep going through your notes. You'll see she's there.
But just before I throw it to you, Ken, because I know you want to expand.
Clarence Thomas.
I just want to.
Wait a minute. Let me start
Let me just
naming some Democrats.
Let me just read you something quickly off of the National Black Republican Association's website when it comes to their requesting that the Democratic Party owes the black community an apology. As author Michael Schur stated, the Democratic Party is the party of the 4 S's: slavery, succession, segregation, and now socialism. Clearly, then, it is the Democratic Party that owes black Americans an apology, not the Republican Party nor the United States. The time is long overdue for the Democratic Party to apologize for the party's nearly 200-year history of racism and cease using racial politics to partisan political gain. Only then can we finally end the racial divisiveness that has torn our nation asunder. Ken, what do you have to say to that?
Well, I don't have anything to say to that. I use my own thinking and way of thinking.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that, when you look at the Democratic Party, people with in unions, teachers, civil service jobs, they're going to vote Democrat because Democratic leaders tend to support those issues.
So why do you think mostly blacks are Democrats today?
Well, look at economics. Look at the percentage of black folks who are looking for, who run their own company.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm a businessman, so I'm coming from the business perspective, and their issues the Democrats support or the Republicans support, and that it doesn't happen. The values that I have as a businessman does not line up with the Democratic Party.
Okay, so back it up. So when and why, and expand upon the entrepreneur perspective. But when and why did you switch your party?
Well, I switched actually when Bush ran against Gore, and Gore didn't allow President Clinton to stump the grounds for him.
Okay.
And I thought that all that Bill Clinton has done for Al Gore, making him vice president, giving him 8 years, giving him a job for 8 years, I just thought that was just a coward move, in my opinion. And so after that took place, I voted for Bush, switched over, and then when it came up to Al Gore, this guy fought in the war. We can argue how many people he killed at the war or took out, or how many missions he went on, but clearly he fought in the war.
Okay.
And President Bush was down in Texas.
John Kerry or?
Yeah, John Kerry. Who did I say?
Gore.
Yeah, John Kerry fought in the war, and President Bush was in Texas hanging out. And Kerry could not defend that. He could not, what they call it, swift water, I think it was.
Swift boat.
Yeah, swift boat. He couldn't defend it. He couldn't defend that he was at war. I didn't like that.
Okay, Sheila, what about you? When and why did you start leaning towards the right?
Well, I'd first like to say that I've never really had any loyalty to any party. I still don't have a loyalty. I'm a declined estate, always have been.
Okay.
As Mr. Fleming stated, my approach to politics has always been about my financial stability and my future financial stability and gains.
Okay.
Touching a little bit on what he said, I'm not someone who has collective bargaining rights on my side to ensure a pension or a retirement plan for me. And I've never been someone to let someone else decide my future. I'm going to make my own decisions for myself. So there wasn't anything in particular that made me switch. It was just my family values and morals and things that, the way that I was raised and being accountable. And the Democratic platform isn't something that's really in my interest.
Okay.
When it comes to voting. It actually handcuffs me. And so it's too much of a nanny state for me.
Okay. So what do black Republicans want? What are you asking Romney for?
I'm not asking Romney to do anything.
Or any of the Republican Party.
I think that you're asking us to speak for a whole group. And we're here to say that, for us and how we fit.
That's fine.
Well,
personally, as a black Republican, what do you want?
Well, Starlett,
what do you expect? Go ahead.
Wait. Before you say it, let me at least attempt to answer your question.
Okay.
What do I want from any sitting president? I'm an employer.
Yes.
So if you can't level the playing field or side with employers, then at least level the playing field for employers. So when we talk about this healthcare thing, one of the things that I'm against now, I think everyone should have some type of healthcare. I'm not against that. What I'm against is putting the responsibility on the employers to say it's our job to make sure that employees have health care. Why am I in charge? I did enough on the 7th and the 22nd. For any of my employees listening, I'm telling the truth. I talk like this in front of them. The 7th and the 22nd, 12 years with one company, maybe 6 years with another company. I never bounced a check, slowed up a check, crossed a check, made it where they had to wait for their pay. I did my job. That was my job, to make sure they get paid. Now all of a sudden I got this added responsibility to say, now you got to make sure that they have health care.
Well, for healthcare, the history of healthcare is that employers actually brought that into the fore. They wanted to,
as a benefit, not as a necessity or
you wanted to attract
mandate.
them. We wanted to attract
So
them.
let me decide the ones I want to pay benefits to and attract. I mean, but by the way, I don't pay the janitor the same amount that I paid the bookkeeper or the CFO. I don't.
Okay.
Everybody's on a different scale. So why does the government need to tell me that I have to pay for this?
Okay, Dermot, you want to say something?
Go ahead.
No, you were asking about Republicans in general, and there was just a visceral reaction from our guests that they're not speaking for the Republicans. Some black Republicans. So I'm asking, is there a group of black Republicans?
So,
Is there an organization? How do you
guys
want to be
mobilize?
Republicans?
Right.
Well, see, that's the thing. We are, as we both stated, and I think we've both stated that we are people that lean to the right. We haven't classified ourselves as Republicans.
I have.
And,
he has.
Registered.
You've registered. I have not classified myself as a Republican. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with that party. It's just that I'm not here to speak for everyone. I don't want to be lumped into and boxed in. I'm here to speak for myself. And because I am right-leaning, the first thing everyone says to me, or my black friends label me, oh, you're a Republican then. I'm not a free-thinking individual that's interested in her own best interests and trying to find a platform that supports me. I'm immediately lumped into a box that says, oh, you're a black Republican, as though there's something wrong with that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you shouldn't have to apologize or explain for it.
Okay, Kim, before you answer that, I think we have a caller. Hi, you're on with the dialogue. You have a comment or question for our guests?
Yes, well, this is Keith in Los Angeles. I'm Keith Hardeen. I just came on, so I'm not sure exactly where everybody's, what the subject is right now, but you can fill me in if you want.
well, hold on, Keith. We'll fill you in.
Keep listening.
Yeah. So,
okay, Kid, make your comment, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break.
What I wanted to say to Mr. Demont was that when you said we're backing up, we're not backing up. It's the same if I had a Democrat in here and I say, hey, you Democrats, you all believe in handouts and you all believe in gay marriage and you all believe in this and that, and they'll back up and say, no, I don't believe in all that. However, the difference is the lesser of the two evils for that person, and I think that's what happened. There is no one party that suits one person. If you're sitting here at the table and you're saying everything that the Democrats do and what they stand for you believe in, you'll be the first person that has ever said that to me.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and hopefully when we come back, we'll be able to play some video from Bishop E.W. Jackson about black Christians who are Republicans as well. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation on black Republicans right here on the dialogue.
I would have loved to see you.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com. Or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the rap project every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D-Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
Raybon Radio on latalklive.com. This is David Raybon, and I'm hosting my own radio talk show with special in-studio celebrity guests covering current events with experts in the field of comedy and entertainment, health and fitness, and sex and relationships. In the last 60 seconds, where I'll attempt to make sense of it all. Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Pacific Time, Raybon Radio is one of the hottest shows on the web. It's easy to watch, too. Just go to the site, LA Talk Live, click on Raybon Radio, and view on-demand previous episodes, or watch it live by going to the site and clicking the red Ustream button at the top of the screen. You also can listen on iTunes Radio under R&B Soul, where you'll find LA Talk Live. Raybon Radio, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Pacific Time. Have something to say? Call the hotline at 323-247-7443. Don't hear about it. Listen for yourself. Raybon Radio on latalklive.com. We're more than just talk. Man, they done gave this fool a radio show.
Hi, this is James Kinney from Kinney Group Creative, inviting you to join us every Thursday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our all-new show, What Catches Fire. We're going to be discussing the love, life, and politics of the American brand. So don't forget to tune in to latalklive.com every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Do you have or know of someone with a child or adult family member with developmental disabilities that would benefit from a social recreation program in the South Los Angeles area? At Ability First's Harry A. Meyer Center at 8090 Crenshaw Boulevard in Inglewood, we offer afternoon and after-school care programs for children and adults with disabilities, which include socialization, recreation, community outings, independent living skill training, as well as physical fitness activities. You can reach us at 323-753-3101 and visit us at www.abilityfirst.org.
Interested in advertising your business, product, or service here on The Dialogue? Call 323-547-7748. The Dialogue will help you promote your business, increase your traffic, and bring in new clients through innovative and creative marketing packages, including affordable radio ad campaigns for small businesses. Find out more. Call 323-547-7748. That's 323-547-7748. Or go to www.thedialoguela.com. And now, back to The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlett Quarles. Real talk, real people.
Welcome back to The Dialogue. Real talk, real people. I'm your host, Starlett Quarles. We're on live at latalklive.com. And today we're having our conversation on Black Republicans with my special co-host this month, Mr. Dermont Givens, actually for the next couple of weeks. And our guest, Kenneth Fleming, who is a registered Republican, and Miss Sheila Taylor, who is still leaning to the right.
Decline to state.
Decline to state. Whatever.
Permanent absentee voter. That's how you get around those voter ID requirements.
We want to hear from you, so please give us a call here, 323-247-7443. Again, 323-247-7443. 247. I'm sorry, 7443. Right here, at LA Talk Live. We're going to get into some audio because we haven't quite worked out the technology with the video yet, but we will get it together here on the dialogue. We're going to play some audio from Bishop E.W. Jackson and his message to Black Christians, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Romney and his Mormonism. We're going to take this.
My name is Bishop E.W. Jackson, chairman of Ministers Taking a Stand, with a message to Christians in the Black community. It is time to end the slavish devotion to the Democrat Party. They have insulted us, used us, and manipulated us. They have saturated the Black community with ridiculous lies. Unless we support the Democrat Party, we will be returned to slavery. We will be robbed of voting rights. The Martin Luther King holiday will be repealed. They think we are stupid and that these lies will hold us captive while they violate everything we believe as Christians. The Democrat Party has created an unholy alliance between certain so-called civil rights leaders and Planned Parenthood, which has killed unborn Black babies by the tens of millions. Planned Parenthood has been far more lethal to Black lives than the KKK ever was. And the Democrat Party and their Black civil rights allies are partners in this genocide. The Democrat Party has equated homosexuality with being Black, which is another outrageous lie. They can keep their homosexuality private. You and I cannot hide being Black. I need not recount to you the painful history of slavery, Jim Crow, lynchings, and sterilizations, all because of skin color. Anyone who dares equate the so-called gay rights movement to the history of Black Americans is exploiting the Black community. They say opposition to same-sex marriage is the same as opposition to interracial marriage. That is an insult to human intelligence. It is a lie. No Christian should support this. Yet the Democrat Party has now declared same-sex marriage an official part of its platform. And Black Christians remain in that party. The civil rights establishment has embraced the lies and betrayed the Black community and God Almighty for 30 pieces of silver from the Democrat Party. We as Christians ought to know better. Shame on us for allowing ourselves to be sold to the highest bidder. We belong to God. Our ancestors were sold against their will centuries ago, but we're going to the slave market voluntarily today. Yes, it's just that ugly. What do you call it when Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins and my sins and paid the price for our freedom? And you join in covenant with a political party that doesn't even want God mentioned in their platform and gets offended at the very mention of Jesus' name? If your pastor tells you to vote for a party that disrespects Jesus, you need to leave that church. Black pastors are also going to have to answer for whether they serve Jesus or the Democrat Party. The Black community will never prosper by betraying God and following leadership that curries the favor of the Democrat Party. It is time for Christians to have the faith and courage to refuse to associate with a political party that has over the years become anti-Christian, anti-church, anti-Bible, anti-life, anti-family, and anti-God. The Democrat Party is also becoming increasingly anti-Israel, and God said, I will curse those that curse Israel. Do you want to be cursed with them? It is time to come out of the Democrat Party and to refuse to support its candidates in their rebellion against God. It's not about party, but principle. It's not about race, but righteousness. And you will stand before God to give an account for your choices and motives. We don't need the Democrat Party or any party. We need God. God will take care of us. It's been a long time coming, but the time has come to take a stand. Come out from among them. Exodus now.
That is Bishop E.W. Jackson and his message to Black Christians about their participation in
Where
the
is that
Democratic
Negro from?
If he had an Obama phone, maybe he'd be able to pick up. We need to get an Obama phone.
Let me start with Sheila. Sheila, tell me your thoughts on Bishop E.W. Jackson.
I think Bishop E.W. Jackson is a part of the religious right. His position comes strictly from his religious beliefs. and practices. That's all I can describe it as. I can't describe him as someone who speaks for me.
Okay, so did you agree with anything that he said?
Well, I didn't disagree or agree with anything that he said. This is someone who's entitled to an opinion, who's passionate about what's important to him and what platform supports him.
Okay. Now, Ken, during the whole thing, I saw you shaking your head talking about this is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. I'm going to tell you why. After I get more.
I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Republican.
By the way, I beat up everybody. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm out for self. No, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's embarrassing. Let me tell you why it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because all those things that he said about the Democratic Party, he should have just said, if you're not a Christian, be in a Democratic Party. And that's not true. Again, those absolute statements that I was talking about earlier. You know, now here it is. As a Republican, no one wants to mention the Mormon thing.
No, we about to talk about it right now.
Because it doesn't matter. But no, it does matter. He's not a Christian, or he claims to be a Christian, but from what I understand about Mormonism, it was just made up, and they just allowed blacks in. I'm just telling you what I've heard.
So how do you feel about Mitt Romney being a Mormon?
If I'm wrong, please show me in writing. But when you go to their website, it don't necessarily say it has an established date. So
incorporation,
you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Now, you know, there was this one leader that was a leader that they pay a lot of homage to. So these are the things that are confusing to me for the Christian right, Republicans.
Okay. All right.
You know, I don't get it.
So what do you think about Romney being a Mormon?
Well, first of all, I don't care about Romney being a Mormon the same way I didn't care if the president was a Muslim, which he is not. I truly believe he was sitting up under Jeremiah Wright, getting some of that great preaching and teaching from Jeremiah Wright. I must say that because he's been to our church a few times. And hey, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't elect a president to talk about my religion.
Okay.
No different than going to the doctor to talk about my finances. I just don't do it. Everyone has their place. And what was disturbing about us Republicans is that 4 years ago, all we talked about, he was a Muslim. He was a Muslim. He was a Muslim. So what if he was a Muslim was my answer to that. And now all of a sudden we can't talk about Mormons. We can't say that Mitt Romney's religion has anything to do with the values of how he's going to run the country.
Okay.
Well, I think that you did. Well, we have talked and discussed Mitt Romney's religion. 60 Minutes did a wonderful story on the Mormon Church and the contributions and the philanthropic deeds of Mitt Romney. The fact that he was a pastor, how he's assisted many people. When one of his really good friends' parents' children died, he was there to, I think it was, do the eulogy. So they have spoken about it, and it was very touching. It really was.
But how do you feel just about his religious?
I'm 100% here with Ken. I don't care what his religion is. Are his plans or his ideas for the country gonna help me?
Okay. All
and
right.
I don't think religion has anything to do with that.
So have you heard what his plans is? I mean, we're about 2 or 3 minutes from the debate starting, and as Democrats, we're looking to see some specificity in what are the plans of Mitt Romney and the Republican Party. So I haven't heard them. So
as a Democrat, do you even care?
Well, yeah, I do care.
But you're not voting for him.
I'm a political person, and he may have an idea that President Barack Obama could use. So I'm not closed.
Well, this is the reality too. That regardless of what Mitt Romney says, no one is going to believe it. That's not voting for him. And so because of that, go back and look at what he did as a governor. Why he is running from the health care plan that he put together, I have no idea. But it was great for his state. So why isn't it great for the rest of the country? I don't understand that. And these are some of the arguments that I have on both sides.
Okay, I think we have a caller, Richard. Okay, hi, you're on with the dialogue. You have a comment or question for our guest?
It was Keith in Los Angeles.
Oh, hi, Keith. What's your comment or question for our guest?
Well, I just wanted to say that about Romney. I mean, you guys went very quickly there with the Mormon thing. First of all, real quickly with the Mormon thing, I don't see how, even if all it was true that he did not like blacks, even though he went to the NAACP and spoke to them, and even though if he would be against blacks, there would be nothing that he could do on in a religious context to hurt blacks the way Obama is hurting blacks in the economic areas and also in the social arena. Since many blacks actually who are Democrat, it has already been discovered that many blacks who are Democrats have the same social values as Republicans when it comes to gay marriage and abortion and contraceptives and things like that. And yet Obama is against our values in that very same area. And that's what I want to point out to the people. And as far as the economic side of it, Obama is definitely hurting blacks, because whatever happens to the country economically, blacks will suffer greater loss.
So
and that's something we need to face, that reality, and know that Obama is not doing a thing and hasn't done anything. He's had 2 years of a perfect Congress, meaning he's had control of the Congress for the first 2 years of his ministry. And now, after the second 2 years, of course, he's done nothing in the economy to improve it.
Okay, so is it safe to assume that you're a Republican?
Yes, I am
Okay,
a
all right.
Republican.
Just wanna
I am
make
a
sure.
conservative, both socially and fiscally, and proud of it. I also am a Christian and proud of it.
Keith, don't hang up. I have a question that I always ask my Republican friends when they talk about the economy against this president, and I'm always going to respect him as the president and not call him by his name. But I wanted to ask this question to you. Economically, have you suffered in the last 2 years?
Yes, sir. I sure have. My job was cut in half. Of course, I work in the school system. I'm a teacher and other things, but I lost quite a bit. Of course, my wife also works for the county of Los Angeles. We both work for government jobs, and our jobs have been cut. I mean, in other words, we both have taken cuts in our pay.
Okay, so working for the schools, I know one of the things that the president is big on was getting another stimulus to make sure that we can keep the teachers working. That benefits you, doesn't it? No, I know it won't. I'm not saying if it'll work or not. I'm saying that's what he stands for. That's his policy. Why wouldn't you want someone who wants to keep you employed? I'm just asking the question and playing devil advocate.
That's a good question, but I would have to say this. I would rather, if the opportunity came up, I would certainly go to the private sector. If I had to do that. I mean, if the private sector was allowed to flourish and the public sector would diminish, meaning government would take less money from my pocket or from the pockets of the people and the private sector, then the private sector could flourish more. Get rid of the regulations, and most of the regulations, and cut down on taxes. Then we would have more opportunity, and I could go out and I would have greater opportunity as well.
Okay, Keith, this is Dermont Gibbons. Let me ask you a question. Are you a black Republican?
Yes, sir. Proud of it.
Okay, and is there somewhere for our listeners, if somebody's interested in being a black Republican, do you all meet anywhere, have any organizational support? Where can black people who are interested in being black Republicans, where can they go to get more information?
Well, I guess I don't know if you're in California. Is this? Are you guys all in California or what?
Well, we're here, but our listening audience, I guess, is nationwide. So.
Oh. Okay. Well, in Los Angeles, California, there's the black. Well, I don't know if it's Los Angeles alone. Let's just say the Black Republicans. There's on the internet we have, of course, the Black Republicans, and they are very strong. And all I could do is just try to email, have you guys Google it, whoever is listening, and find Black Republicans, and just Google Black Republicans, and you should be able to contact.
And there's also what I'm reading off of the nationalblackrepublicans.com website. There is a national website for Black Republicans.
Very good.
Okay,
Very good.
Thank you so much for your call, Keith. Bringing it back into the studio. So tell me just in short, what do you guys like about Obama, if anything? How did you feel when he was elected the first black president?
Well, you know that I campaigned for him. I drove all around the states.
You sure did. That's right.
I drove to Vegas. I knocked on doors. I was chased by dogs. I had all-night strippers who cursed me out because they had just made it home off the pole.
Why were you bothering them?
And they worked hard. And that's what I heard. I got some stories.
Can we share?
So they had stars. Okay, go ahead.
And I was very proud of the work that I had done, and I was very proud of him. And I think I fell for the empty suit. And I saw very, very quickly that he was an empty suit. I think within 6 months, his sticker was off my car that all of my coworkers were going, "You pulled your Obama sticker off?" Absolutely.
After 6 months?
Yeah, I won't say that about the president. I think the president's done some great things. He saved jobs. I don't care what they talk about in regards to GM. They should have let it go bankruptcy and all that. Come on, man. I'd rather see people work $8 an hour than collect unemployment.
Did you vote for him in 2008?
Absolutely, I voted for him in 2000.
Why? Because he was a black man?
You know what? To be very honest, that was probably my third reason for voting for him.
Okay.
I think that it was more or less McCain was when I knew he didn't know how to work a BlackBerry and send out an email. It just wasn't going to work. And then when he picked Sarah Palin, it was like, okay. And then the third one was, you know what? He get the black vote, and he got it. This time I'm in a different situation, and the situation I'm in now is that do I believe Mitt Romney is going to benefit me, first of all, as an entrepreneur, second of all, my people. I'm black.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm
you
not
do
running
care
for
about
that.
the black people.
Yeah. Some of them.
47%.
Yeah, 47%, which was the stupidest. Oh man, that's crazy. But again, see, Mitt Romney, as smart and bright as he is, I don't know why he didn't hire somebody from the neighborhood to keep him up to date.
You don't know anybody from the neighborhood.
But he could have hired somebody. He could have created a job. And see, that's the problem I have. But in regards to this election,
his wife don't want housekeepers.
Well, that's a whole nother. You're right about that. Okay, we got jokes since we ended. But so what I'm looking for is, like I said, which president or which candidate is going to do the best for me as an entrepreneur, and second, who's going to look out for our people. And I'm being very honest.
Okay,
as
so
a Republican.
Sheila, do you
Moderate.
think Mitt Romney is the right guy for the job?
No, he's not. Oh, I'm sorry.
I am willing to give Mitt Romney the benefit of the doubt. I believe that he is someone that will that support my interests, support me first. I can't say that I no longer, well, I can say that I no longer believe in Mr. Obama, his politics, and I do believe that he's traveling along the socialist path, and I just don't agree with it.
Okay.
It doesn't benefit me.
So you won't be voting for him?
I will not be voting for Mr. Obama.
And what about you?
You know, it's so funny you said that because I went to the dentist before I arrived, as you know.
That's why your teeth so white.
And they were talking about 7-Eleven. So you can now go to 7-Eleven when you buy your cup of coffee, and the coffee cups are either Obama or Romney.
Okay.
One's red, one's blue. Red's Romney and blues. And I didn't know this. So I walk in and my dentist and the receptionists, people who don't look like me, start telling me this story and they think it's fantastic. And they say, so let's see. Let me show you online. Let's see. And he says, so you would want the Obama one. And I said, why would I want the Obama one? And the place grew silent. Faces, they stopped. They gave me that bitch look. They gave me that look like, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of looked at them and said, just silent, looked at them like, and it just kind of, we just sort of changed the subject on how much is the damage, let me pay my bill.
Right, and clean my teeth. So, Ken, in the last couple of seconds,
Any cavities?
You voting for our boy?
I haven't. The unfortunate part about California, I haven't made up my mind. I'm truly independent, and California is going to
doesn't matter
Democrat anyway.
Yeah, it's not going. It is.
Yeah.
Vote for Barack Obama.
That was our co-host for today. And DeMont, you're going to join us next week when we actually will be talking to blacks who are not voting for Obama, like Sheila. DeMont, thank you so much for joining us. You're going to come back and join us next week?
I'm enjoying myself.
Absolutely, Ken. Thank you so much for joining us and always keeping us laughing.
I'm glad I was at the first show.
You were at the first show.
And I'm at the first show at the new studio. So
Ken's been a writer with the dialogue for
absolutely.
a long time, y'all.
It's cost me friends and family.
My Sheila Bear, thank you, Sheila, so much for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm always here to support you.
And you actually gonna come back?
I may.
And my engineer, Richard Carr, owner of LA Talk Live. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here today on The Dialogue. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We're going to get it together next week when we talk about our conversation with blacks who are not voting for Obama. I'm sorry?
And go watch the debate.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about the debate. Make sure you turn to the debate that's probably on right now. You probably turned me off. So make sure that you tune in next week to The Dialogue. I'm your host, Starlett Quarles. Real talk, real people, signing off as my mama's child and my daddy's baby girl. Until next week.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and hosts of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.